In a quiet coastal town in 18th century England, a young boy named John Newton walked slowly along the shore with his mother. The morning mist drifted gently across the calm sea. The scent of salt and seaweed floated through the cool air. His mother held his small hand as they walked along the sand. Softly, she spoke to him about faith, about hope, and about the love of God. John listened carefully, his young eyes wide with curiosity. He did not yet understand everything she said, but he felt the warmth in her voice, and somehow, the words settled deep within his heart. Beside them, waves rolled quietly onto the shore, rising and falling like the rhythm of their peaceful conversation. For John, these moments felt safe, simple, full of love. At home, the glow of candlelight warmed their small wooden house. The evening air was quiet except for the gentle crackle of a small fire. John's mother opened the Bible and began to read aloud. Her voice was calm and steady. John sat beside her at the table, tracing the worn edges of the pages with his fingers. The stories filled his imagination. Stories of courage. Stories of miracles. Stories of people who found hope even in their darkest moments. His mother often reminded him of something important. No one is ever beyond the reach of God's grace. John listened carefully. He could not yet know how much those words would one day mean to him. But life can change in an instant. When John was only a child, illness came suddenly to their home. His mother grew weaker each day. One cold, gray morning, she was gone. At her funeral, rain fell quietly from the sky. John stood silently beside the grave, his small hands trembling. Tears mixed with the falling rain on his face. The world suddenly felt larger, and much lonelier. The gentle voice that once guided him was gone, and the boy who once walked peacefully along the shore now faced life without her. In the years that followed, John struggled to find his place in the world. His father, a stern sea captain, believed the ocean was the only path for a young man. And so, while still a teenager, John was sent to sea. The harbor bustled with activity as sailors shouted and ropes creaked against wooden masts. Massive ships rocked in the water. The smell of salt, tar, and wetwood filled the air. John stood on the dock, staring up at the towering ship that would carry him away. His heart pounded with excitement and fear. With one final step, he climbed aboard, and the life he once knew disappeared behind him. Life at sea was far harsher than John had imagined. The ocean was unpredictable. Some days, the water stretched endlessly in every direction, calm and peaceful. Other days, powerful winds and crashing waves turned the sea into a violent battlefield. John worked tirelessly alongside hardened sailors. He hauled ropes, climbed masts, and battled exhaustion under the blazing sun and freezing rain. The sea was unforgiving, but slowly it shaped him. The boy who once listened quietly to Bible stories was becoming a rough and rebellious young sailor. As the years passed, John fell deeper into a life of recklessness. He drank heavily. He mocked authority. And he ignored the lessons his mother once taught him. Eventually, he became involved in one of the darkest trades of the time: the slave trade. Ships like the ones John sailed carried human cargo across the Atlantic. Men, women, and children were captured from their homes and forced into chains. Below the decks of these ships, hundreds of people were crammed together in darkness. The air was thick and suffocating. The cries of suffering echoed through the narrow spaces. John witnessed the misery with his own eyes. At first, he tried to ignore it. But deep within him, something felt terribly wrong. The memories of his mother's words still lingered in his heart. And those memories began to stir his conscience. One night, Far out in the Atlantic Ocean, the sky began to change. Dark clouds gathered rapidly. The wind grew stronger. Waves rose higher and higher. Sailors rushed across the deck, shouting orders as they prepared for the storm. The ship creaked violently as the ocean began to roar. Within minutes, the storm exploded with terrifying force. Massive waves slammed into the ship. Rain poured from the sky like a waterfall. Lightning split the darkness. The vessel pitched wildly in the raging sea. Water flooded across the deck. Sailors struggled desperately to keep the ship from breaking apart. John fought alongside them, gripping ropes as the wind tore through the sails. But fear gripped his heart. The storm was too powerful, and death felt frighteningly close. In the chaos of that moment, something unexpected happened. John remembered the prayers his mother once taught him. Falling to his knees on the slippery deck, he cried out into the roaring storm, "Lord, have mercy on me! Save me from this storm!" The words came from deep within his soul. For the first time in years, he was truly praying. Not out of habit, but out of desperation. Hours passed. The storm raged on. But slowly, the winds began to weaken. The crashing waves became smaller. Finally, as dawn broke across the horizon, the sea grew calm once again. John stood quietly on the deck, exhausted and shaken. The ship had survived. And so had he. But something inside him had changed. That terrifying night forced him to confront the life he had been living. And for the first time, he began to believe that God had truly heard his cry for mercy. Over the following years, John's heart slowly transformed. He began reading the Bible again. The same book his mother once read to him by candlelight. The same words he had long ignored. Gradually, he turned away from the cruel trade that once defined his life. The guilt he carried weighed heavily on his conscience. But he believed that redemption was still possible. That grace could reach even someone like him. Eventually, John left the sea behind forever. He devoted himself to studying scripture and serving others. Years later, he became a minister. Standing before congregations in small churches, he spoke openly about his past. He did not hide his mistakes. Instead, he shared them honestly. Because his story proved something powerful. That no life is too broken to be restored. One quiet evening, many years later, John sat alone at a small wooden desk. A candle flickered beside him as he dipped a quill into ink. He began writing words that reflected his life's journey. Words about being lost. And about being found. Words about blindness. And about finally seeing the truth. Slowly, the verses formed on the page. Words that would soon become one of the most famous hymns ever written. Amazing grace. How sweet the sound. That saved a wretch like me. Inside village churches, voices began singing the hymn. The melody spread across England, then across oceans, and eventually around the world. The song spoke to anyone who had ever needed forgiveness. Anyone who had ever searched for hope. Years later, John Newton sat quietly in a sunlit church. Now an old man, his hair gray with age, he reflected on the extraordinary path his life had taken. From a curious boy walking beside his mother, to a rebellious sailor lost at sea, to a man transformed by grace. Gently he closed his Bible. A peaceful smile crossed his face. Because he knew something many people struggled to believe. That grace is real. That redemption is possible. And that even the most broken lives can become a song of hope. The hymn he wrote continues to echo across the world. Sung in churches. In times of sorrow. in moments of celebration. A reminder that mercy can reach anyone. And that grace, truly is amazing.